Okay, I don't even know what is real or what is not real as far as what I am feeling right now. But I just left what I am dubbing the Fin Clinic. And I got my first injection just a moment ago. By that I mean like 10 minutes. And it was so easy, just so painless. I'm not even convinced that anything actually happened, but I do feel like really happy. I don't know. My mood feels elevated. I feel like there is a tingly sensation going through my body. Again, is that just the emotion of excitement or happiness? I feel like I know what those emotions feel like, but I feel like this is different. I feel alive. So I had a nice girl, Shauna, that talked through things again and like went in a little more in depth than I thought. Like, not than I thought, but like she went over things and explained things in a way that I haven't heard from anybody else yet on like why things are the way they are on this medication. But I'm super pumped. I'm super optimistic. I just feel better about everything right now. So let's just keep riding this high. Okay, so we are back. It is many, many hours later. It is, in fact, 8 hours later. I look more tired because it is the end of the day. So I feel like I feel like I am already on the medication, which is weird because she told me that it would kick in as early as 12 hours from when she injected it, could be 24 hours. I've watched videos where people felt like it took a week or it took longer. Like you might not really feel like you're on the right dose or like anything's happening until a month or like a couple weeks in. I, however, feel like since the moment I got shot up with that stuff, that I have felt a little bit different. Now, before I was tired after running through the course of the whole day, don't mind me, I'm gonna try to not sway. Before I had run through the whole course of the day and I was like very full of energy, I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know if that excitement was just from the concept of it all, but I just felt that little tingle wash through me, and sometimes I still feel it now, which is weird, and like nobody has mentioned this, but I take that as a good sign. I take that as things are jiving well. Um, and you know, in addition to that, simultaneously alongside, I have also felt this wave of what I would not call nausea, but like this disruption where I wouldn't go as far as to say I was averse to food because after the appointment, I was really, really hungry. Like, I had my bone broth and my little soft boiled eggs before I left and like my coffee and stuff. But that was at like 10 a.m. And even though they're both protein based, a couple eggs and some broth is not going to keep you hungry or keep you satisfied until 3:30, 4:30. So I really wanted something. There was a McDonald's near me. I did go and do the amazing McDeal on the rewards program of for like anywhere between $1.20 to $1.75 depending on what size fry you get. I got a medium fry and an extra small Coke shortly after I got out of there because I was like, I'm gonna freak out if I go through all the errands that I have and I do not get anything in me. So I did have that, and then I spent all day doing these errands, and I did not have anything until I got home at 8:30. And so then I had some noodles and some fajita beef and broccoli and a protein shake, when I was at the consultation, she really encouraged me to start taking protein shakes. We went over my diet and what I eat on the day to day, and she was really happy to hear about what I have been eating. Although I was honest. I was honest about how I wound up in this boat and what's been going on over the past 2 years, and how I did do good for a year on my own, and then like life happened and all this kinds of overeating, and now I'm 30 pounds up from where I was at the end of that first year. And then just like a brief history, right? And it's not a dissimilar history from what I imagine she hears all the time, because you don't wind up in that place wanting to get on a GLP1 and do assisted medical weight loss without having a lifelong issue with food. So it's like, it's nice to just go someplace and to not have to pretend to feel differently than you actually do. Like living in a state of this cognitive dissonance where it's like, I mean, I'm still beautiful. I still like love myself. Blah, blah, blah. There's nothing wrong with me, right? Like I'm not fat, right? I don't need to change, right? Like you're in there because you do want to change. You're in there because not necessarily that you don't love yourself, although there's no guard at the door being like, you can only come in here if you love yourself, and if you don't, get the fuck out. Like people are at different points when they enter. I am not at a point where I hate myself by any means. I definitely love myself. Like I want to love myself better. I want to actually invest in myself. I want to use the money that I have saved and contributed to my health savings account for my health. And you know, I sat there for a second before I did do this, and before I knew for sure without a doubt that I was able to use my health savings account for this, and I'm so glad. As far as I know, I mean, I guess the reimbursement hasn't cleared yet, but as far as I'm aware, it said paid, and they are mailing a check to me for my first payment of $150. But you know what? Even if that wasn't the case, I'd still feel good about doing this. But I'm even more happy to be able to use my health savings account for this, because I, despite what we may be conditioned to do, I don't want to save that for when I'm sick or have cancer or like something bad has happened to me. Thankfully, with a heart full of gratitude, I can honestly say that nothing bad has happened to me. I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. I could be better. I could not be fat, but I am okay. And I would rather just invest in the health and get all of this weight off so that I continue to be good, so that I don't go into my mid-30s fat and creating problems. And that is what I'm really trying to avoid. I want to be healthy and hot and happy in my body. And if I lived in cognitive dissonance saying and trying to convince myself that I was already, I wouldn't have went, because nothing would have been wrong. Sometimes you just have to live in the truth. And so I'd like to think that I am living in the truth in a positive, self-loving way. In a way that has not given up on myself. In a way that's not resigned to what the current situation is. I do love myself. I do think I'm beautiful. I'd like to think that everyone going in there for this purpose has some semblance of that, and that's why we're all there. It's like, I can do it. I'm here because I can change. There's just some parts of life that you need help in. And this was the other thing where for so long, for so much of my life, and I think that this is probably a very prevalent feeling among society, especially women, where you feel like such an idiot, loser, slob. Just such a fatty, loser, out of control slob, can't stop putting things in your mouth, just can't get the weight off of you, incompetent fool, that you have an issue with food, And it's something that you just can't do 100% by yourself, and that it's embarrassing to need help with it. And I'm just at a point where I am so okay and feel so free and like liberated and empowered and happy to just be like, yes, I do. I do need help. Okay, please help me. I have been able to get through the rest of life on my own. I have been able to find my way through scary parts of life, to literally think I was about to die from COVID by myself because I was sick in my apartment alone and like couldn't breathe. To deal with alcoholism on my own and like not seeking intervention from that, to deal with abusive relationships at different times in very early stages of life when I truly didn't know any better, to deal with the relationships of my family and parents that are troubled, like to deal with those on my own, to deal monetarily with things mostly on my own. I will say, my dad has helped me in various ways, and I am appreciative of that. Not because I was in dire straits, because I was in like debt from gambling or anything. Like, I did have the rest of a student loan that he volunteered to pay off. That was very nice. Like, thank you so much. And like other contributions. So that's neither here nor there. I just, not to derail, but on this tangent, I don't want to be like, I've never received help ever in my life. I've done everything on my own. No. Because then that's, then I'm going like a mile a minute in a bunch of different ways. This is just truly a tangent and just like a yap fest. But I do not want to be somebody who gets on the internet or who's ever like known in any kind of way claiming that I've never had help and I was only poor and I came from somewhere that I didn't come from, just to make the come up that much more grandiose and to make it seem like I really deserved something, and it's packaged in a way to where nobody will question that I deserve it and just overwhelmingly be happy for me. This is not a tangent that I needed to go on in like a weight loss video, but since I was going through like the things, like counting down the ways that I have helped myself, I have done hard things on my own, and I'll always be very proud of that. And there have been things that I definitely haven't shared here because that's getting a little too deep right now. But like in those ways that I've gotten through things and been proud of myself. But I also don't want to be like, my parents have done absolutely nothing for me. Ever. They never fed me. They never gave me a decent place to live or an education. It's all their fault. No. We all have things that we don't do great. We all have failed other people in some ways, even when we didn't mean to. And to bring it back to our own selves, to bring it back to myself, I have also, at times, failed myself in some way or another. And I think the message here is that you just don't give up, right? You just keep trying. And my biggest struggle, despite anything else that I have ever went through, substances. I think medically I would have been defined as an alcoholic, but also if I think we're going by a medical definition, like 80% of society is alcoholic. So sure, I was an alcoholic, and I've stopped drinking on my own and been pretty functional ever since, and I think that that's really cool. And I've gotten myself out of situations, and I've gotten myself into good situations, and I've done things that I never thought that I'd be able to do. But this, I don't know why weight is such a sensitive, like, Achilles heel for so many of us. But I have just never been successful on my own. And even if I had a friend that wanted to lose weight at the same time, or like wanted to be healthy and like be active, you know, we're just living our own completely separate lives. And it wasn't the kind of support that I needed. And also, they're not a professional, and neither am I. And maybe this is a form of substance addiction to where I really just need a medication. Like, maybe not forever. That would be great if it wasn't forever. But also, if it was forever, who fucking cares? Whatever helps me to not be obsessed with food is the help that I need. And it's nice that I get to go into this place and have some people who are paid to care, and it's their job to help me, because helping me in this way is a job. And I get the medication that I need to live the rest of my life as a functional person and just do what I gotta do. And that is what I am so happy for. I'm so relieved. And I didn't overeat anything today. I don't even know what the calories were. But I got home and I ate those noodles and beef and broccoli and a protein shake. And that was it. And I haven't felt nauseous today. But I also haven't felt super hungry. I felt fine. I felt what I think is normal immediately. And that is a gift.